spend time as a charter member trying not to rush. It's so hard. I know. You want to make money. I know. But you have to figure out the things you're going to do that's going to mess you up and then fix them. I can't fix them. No other person out there is going to fix them for you. But once you've done the work to replace them with good habits, then you have the potential to do the right things and see the results you're looking for. But even then, you got to grow. And then once you do those types of things, you get experience that can't be bought. You can't put a price tag on either. You can't, like, I can't put a level of money on the things I've learned in my experience that I have right now, that I can't even find a way to articulate. Like, there's no words that can really explain what I'm really tapping into. I just know the painful lessons, they are meaningful to me, and they help me do the things that you see the results of. I sit out here every single week with you, and I more or less mark out and map the market for you. Yes, you can argue and say, well, that's not trading. That's not doing anything. Okay, well, let's go over. Once you know what you're looking for and you have a model, maybe you have two models, like I have several, okay? You can look at fast markets like the US 100, NASDAQ, and you can work inside this range here all day long. And this is a 30-second chart. There's so many things in this chart that exist on all the time frames we've looked at. And you can be a seller, a buyer, reaccumulate more buying, pyramid, 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 sell. Wait for the retracement down on that hourly chart. Buy it. Consequent encroachment. Buy it. Add more. SMT. Fair value gap. Buy it. Wait for this run on this high. Boom. Sell it. And you build and you pyramid. You build and you pyramid. And you build and you pyramid. And you'll learn those things here. But these results I'm about to show you, you aren't going to get these types of results. Okay? Now, I could have took myself right over to YouTube and showed you this stuff. Okay? They don't need to see this. And you don't really need to see this stuff. But when you know what you're looking for, and you're building it up, and you build it up, and you build it up, you can do amazing things, folks. Amazing things. I'm not promising you're going to do this, okay? You won't take $5,000 and run up to $5.5 million in a couple months, okay? That takes a lot of ridiculous focus and just insanity to be able to pull that kind of stuff off, okay? That little bit of stuff you see here, this doesn't take an MT4 server to do it. You're seeing it here. Now you watch me call these markets every single week. You watch me do these things every single month. You watch me do this stuff day by day, calling certain things. You watch me show you executions and trade management. The same thing occurs on these lower time frames like this. This is high frequency trading. When you're able to get in here and execute based on the things you've learned, and you're looking at how the market's likely to deliver when they enter sell models and buy models on these lower time sell models and buy models on these lower time frames inside of the session. Inside the session, the morning session, the afternoon session. When you see that repeating over and over and over again, you can find a litany of setups that happen all the time. And you don't need to be forcing any trades. They're here. They're right in this time frame too. And this is, it's not even a minute, it's 30 seconds. What's this right here? Order block, fair value gap, return to it. Takes out a short-term low, external range liquidity. Where's it likely to go to next? Well, you have this high here, and you have this high here, and you have this high here. So we dug down below that old high. Remember that red line there? That's what that is. So we had a retracement down in. This is that hourly consequent encroachment. Rally. Dig down, external range liquidity inside of a bullish market, because we're not trying to pick a top, right? So you had institutional order flow here. Breaker. See how it overlaps? Again, this is a 30-second chart. You can read institutional order flow on any time frame. The signatures repeat over and over and over again. Parlay more of your position because you got profits from here. You take those profits and you use it to buy more, but not larger positions. Like, in other words, you're not buying 10, then 20 more here. You're doing halves, halves, halves. And you do this multiple times. And you build up, and you build up, and you build up. You are years away from doing this kind of stuff, folks. And I know when I show this, it makes these dangling carrots for you to go out there and try to do that. And it's going to hurt you because it takes a lot of skill. It takes a lot of patience. You have to know what you're looking for. And you have to have removed a lot of things. And I wrestle with a lot of mental baggage. Obsessively compulsive. I'm bipolar. Come on now. If I can do this stuff, okay, I know some of you in here are very, very smart. Much smarter than I am. Academically, you've done way more than I have. You can do this. But you have to be fair with yourself and give yourself every advantage. I didn't learn this in 6 years. This took over a decade. It takes a lot of skill. But you don't need that kind of precision, that kind of performance, which is breakneck performance. You're not finding 2,000% in 1 week in Robin's Cup. And you're just not doing it. It ain't happening. Okay? In 7 days, 2,000%. And that's just working with 30-second and 1-minute charts. Doing a little bit of dabbling in the indices. That's all it is. One market. It's not even Forex. And this is not MT4, and you're not renting a TradingView server. Okay? So, as much as I want to go over to YouTube and rub everybody's face in this that thinks that I'm guilty of using a rented MT4 server back in my Twitter days, it's not required. Like, I mean, I'm flattered. Don't get me wrong. I'm flattered that they think that that's what I had to do that. But in 2,000% in 1 week, in 7 days, what do you think this account would have been in 8 weeks? It would have been more than I showed on Twitter. If you do this type of trading in a broker, all you're doing is asking for them to slip you, to give you issues with your fills. They're going to put speed bumps in front of you. You cannot perform with this degree of relentlessness. You have to just slowly work it in. When it's good, you juice it a little bit and then you dial it back. And that takes a lot of discipline, because once you know how to do this, it's very easy to want to get out there and just Tommy gun it, like just lay waste to it. And you're going to get yourself not in trouble, okay, not like legal trouble, but you're going to get in trouble with your broker, okay? And you want to have a good relationship with your broker. This is why sometimes when I tell you that if you've had a really good run of just real high accuracy, it's worth it for you to throw very small trades in there just to mix it up a little bit and just take some small losses. It's good, okay? It throws off the folks that watch accounts that are smoking hot with their performance. And anybody that trades and they've been marginally profitable, when they hear me say that, they're like, this is nuts. Why would you even do that? Well, that's because these people don't make a lot of money. Okay? And they don't understand the broker relationship that can be beneficial for you if you are once in a while just slugging it, just saying, well, I'll put a 5 lot in here and just scratch a 20 pipper. Just when I know it's going to go up, likely to go up, I'll just go short. And it just makes it feel like, okay, this guy's just got a hot lick, and there's no reason to start messing with their fills. Going slow on their executions, and slippage won't be as much. Those are the types of things that'll hurt you, and they will do it when your positions are at the highest. And they'll just say, well, we just didn't have the liquidity. Man, there's all kinds of liquidity. Okay, you're never going to get to the point where your liquidity isn't there for your trades. Okay, it ain't going to be there. Okay, that problem isn't ever going to be in your hands. But you have to have patience, folks. You have to have patience, and you have to just remember, I'm doing this with you every single day, week, month, for years now. There's no secret recipe book I'm reading from that tells me tomorrow's news. It's hard work and experience. Now I'm using those things to outline these markets with you before it happens. Then I show you results by going in and doing executions, and I share them on YouTube. But if they see me doing these things in the chart, they're going to pick up on signatures that I'm using. I'm not a rocket scientist. Okay, I bridged what I learned, how these algorithms operate, and I found things that repeat in the chart. That illumination came to me, I believe, by God. And I know that sounds nuts, but I couldn't see it otherwise. I knew these things were being delivered from an algorithmic standpoint, but I had to find a way to see if I could see just some things. And there's a lot of things I can't see because there's no way for me to see it in the chart. But a lot of things that I've taught, even on YouTube, are linked to that. But in the mentorship, it's really linked. Do you need everything? No, I'm proving you don't need everything. Everything that occurs in these smaller time frames is the same thing I'm teaching you on the 15-minute, the hourly chart, the daily chart. It's there. The missing piece of the puzzle is understanding the narrative. Why is it doing what it's doing? This is what I said on the YouTube channel the other day. You have to know why it's going to be going where it's going. What's the draw on liquidity and why should it get there? That takes someone teaching you every single day for weeks and months and years. And you learn by being immersed in that experience. And that's what mentorship is. I know it's hard. I know it's not easy for you to get it the first couple times you watch something. And you feel like you're right on the cusp of it. Like, I'm almost there. I can feel it happening, but it just simply won't happen. Right. That means you're so close. Don't quit. Because I stopped and called it quitting many times in the 90s. Oh man, I quit probably dozens of times. But once you're bit, you can't get it out of your system. You're never going to be happy because you know this is what you want to do. Okay, well, submit to it. Treat it as a hobby. Right now, you're treating it as a hobby while you're learning, with the expectation that once you understand what you're doing and you learn your hobby really well, what's the best advice somebody's given that has a lot of money? Use your passion and find a way to make it profitable and put a price tag on it. And you will never work a day in your life. Well, this is the same thing. If you look at this as a game or a hobby that you want to get really good at, like playing the guitar, which to me is impossible. I can't do it. But the long and short of it is this is something you can do because there's rules. And if you stick to those rules, it's not the word I'm looking for dexterity. It's not a dexterity thing like playing the guitar. I have dexterity issues. I just can't get my hands to do what they need to do. Some of you in here probably played the guitar and you're smiling and laughing thinking, yeah, guys, ICT, look there. I can play all kinds of stuff on the guitar. In price charts, there's finite details that and rules that we follow. And if you submit to these things, you'll see them. And once you understand them, they repeat over and over. And there's a small little variance in how they deliver many times, but they're generally the same thing at the same time of day. It's the same kind of formation of, what it is you're looking for. But if you give yourself the permission to enjoy developing, not I have to have it done by this time because I'm losing my job, I need to pay my rent. You're asking for impossibility. You're asking for your own failure to be assured. And it doesn't feel like it should be like that, but it is. It's exactly like that because you're putting time right in front of you as a hurdle, and you're never going to jump it. You can't get around it. There's no shortcut. So you just enjoy the time here. That's the reason why I've only put the payments in 1 year. And then that's it. Because it's going to take you time. And once you're in the community, you just kick it with everybody and you relax. And you'll learn, once you take the, I guess the word is urgency out of this whole equation, it'll happen faster for you. It ain't going to be promised to you that you'll do what you see me doing here. Okay? I don't need fraud. I don't need gimmicks. I don't need, back end stuff to make charts dance for me. I prove it to you. I go out. My name, my credibility is in your hands every single time I sit down with you. I have a report card every single week. Your attendance. Did I earn your attendance this week? Have I earned it the past month? The past 3 months? This entire year? The last several years? That's the question you need to ask. Do you see the things I'm using and teaching you here? Do they communicate to me? You may not see them yet, but am I being the mediator between what the algorithm is likely to do, using my tools as a language? Am I communicating to you what is likely to happen before it happens? Not all the time. There's a few times I get it wrong, but for the most part, it happens. That's where your focus should be, because I'm convinced that you're not going to find someone out there that can do this consistently, because they're trying to do signals and setups, or they're not even doing that, and they're talking about in hindsight. They're not telling you what's going to happen before it happens. I am in the hot seat every single time, and I don't mind it because I'm comfortable and I can do it. You will grow into that. And here's the wonderful thing. I am convinced, even knowing what I know and unwilling to teach, okay, there are things, and I know it makes you uncomfortable, but I'm being honest. There are certain things that I'm not going to touch on. And you probably say, well, you should have never brought it up. You're right. I probably should have never brought them up. But I'm honest to a fault. You are likely to be better than me using what I'm teaching you here. Remember, there's my weakest part of all my trading is the exits in profitable trades. Like, I want better exits. You may refine something that I've not been able to do and become so much better than I am. And I would love that. I wouldn't look at that as, I'm inferior now. That's my whole point in teaching. I want to lift somebody else up and have a higher view than mine. That's what I want. And I want to be able to look up to that person or persons and say, I'm so thankful I had a small part in that person's success. And I'm proud of them that they took the things that I suffered through and made that with it. That's what I want. I want that with my children. But it's so frustrating they won't do it. They won't do it. So I have a lot of you that I look as my children. And you may be older than I am. And I'm not looking at you talking down to you. But a lot of you, like you've been recently in the last week or so, sending me lots of really nice emails. My staff pushes, this is a really nice one, read this one. This is a really nice one, read that one. And a lot of the men say, I'm like a father figure to them. And that's very heartwarming. And while I try to talk with the idea that you are my sons and my daughter, Sometimes I'm talking like the individuals that I answered to the two gentlemen that sent me questions about like SMT and why does this not, work here or there, and why do the indices not move in concert with one another sometimes. I'm thinking of them when I'm answering the questions, and they know who they are, but I don't know what their face looks like. I don't. I just know that that's that person I received an email about a question, and I wrote down as my hit list and covering certain things tonight in the video. They are in my mind when I'm talking, but you don't think of it like that. You think I'm talking to you. And I try to talk in a way where I'm hopefully received as personable, and it creates a rapport between us. So that way, not only am I not, I may very well be boring most of you, okay? But the folks that are really trying to make an effort and they have a student-teacher rapport with me that's beyond the average, like going to school, and nobody really cared about their teachers. But people that are very passionate and they're basically like hanging on every word I say, those individuals are going to do exceedingly well. Not because they're hanging on my every word, but because their attention to detail. That's how I was. Like every word that anybody said that I had respect for, I literally could still talk back to you and repeat like the videos that Larry Williams produced. I could almost tell you verbatim the things he says in each one of those 4 volumes. How he said it, his body language, that's how many times I watched it and how many times I wrote the notes out. So I get it. I understand that some of you are fanatical when it comes to studying my stuff. And others are not so fanatical and then don't put as much effort into it as they should. And then they want to find fault with either they should have got it sooner by now or this, that, and the other thing. You need to go back through the content again. And that's the answer. You have the videos, you have access to them, go through them again. And take copious notes. The writing down of notes is what brings it to your subconscious. Your subconscious is what your memory refers back to. So you can't have an empty subconscious vault of information and expect your brain to say, I know what it's going to do on this price chart, because you have not done the work. And I know that pisses some of you off. Oh, you don't know how many videos I watch. Watching videos is not how this is done. It's not. And watching a video and immediately trying to go out there and apply it with a live account is not how it's done. So you have to decide, are you going to listen and do the things I tell you to do and avoid the things I tell you not to do to give yourself the advantage and remove all the potential obstacles and pitfalls that everybody will fall victim to? I was, and everybody else that doesn't listen. They always send me the same emails. I wish I would have. I know. And it sucks that you got to go back through and try to ignore the bad habits that you created for yourself. But if you submit to it all the right way, do it that way, and say, I don't care how long it takes, I'm going to enjoy this process. Even if you get partially there while you're learning, the fact that this mentorship outlines what's likely to happen in terms of where the market's going to reach for, that in itself is a huge advantage. It's a huge advantage. It gives you the confidence, because not only do I have a track record with you all here doing it, but I'm pretty accurate. And I'm comfortable doing it. So let that be a form of confidence building for you. Don't lose sight of that. And it helps you along. Imagine if you didn't have that. Just like the folks over there on YouTube. Some people send me results and they're funded and they're doing really well. Really well. Because they put exceptional amount of effort in. And they blew out accounts. Lots of them. And they didn't stop. And now they found their niche. That's their model. And as much as they want to say thank you to me, like I gave that model to them, they earned that model. They fleshed it out using components and things that I taught. But the way they trade, that's their model. And they're so proud of it. They can't wait to share it with me. And it's fascinating to see what some of them have come up with very little moving parts, and others are very, very intricate. And they're making real money. How did they do it outside the mentorship? Yes, my mentorship stuff's been leaked around here and there, but they built it only on the things on that YouTube channel. What separates them from you? The time and effort they put into it. And they submitted to whatever time it took them. And some of them took a long time. Some of them were 2010 alumni from Baby Pips. And now, all of a sudden, they just recently found consistency and profitability. Do the math on that, friends and neighbors. That's over 10 years. Do you have the wherewithal to do that? I would suggest most of you don't. Most of you came in here in this last wave, riding on that 2021 train, thinking it's just going to fall right in your lap. It's going to be so easy, anybody can do it. And it's a lot of content, isn't it? And you haven't even gotten to charter yet. So it's literally like going through college here and getting your master's degree. It took me 6 years to do this. And that's how I did the mentorship. 6 years. Think about it. I started in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. 6 years. All planned. No, well, this, that. I had never, ever, ever planned to keep doing this the rest of my life. I've taken you through the exact travels, the pitfalls, the things that I had to endure. When you hear me telling these stories, all these things that I endured that year of my development. And I try to make it the same way it was for me, for you, for my kids. When they read my journals, they'll be able to say, oh, I can see why he was teaching like that time, that year. But COVID created some kind of creative obstacle course that kind of caused me to have analysis paralysis. Like last year was very difficult for me. Like I was not confident in any of my analysis. And to be honest, I second guessed myself a lot, because I didn't know how to interpret what was going on around the world. Like this is all new stuff, like all new kind of thing. But now I've got it behind me, and my content and concepts still worked really well. So I'm really confident now. So if I'm confident in it, knowing that we went through it together, you should feel confident. Not overconfident, not braggadocious, not arrogant, but you have things that work really, really well. These tools in trained hands are lethal. Not in the sense you're going to kill yourself in the account. You can, but you're going to be able to do things that the average person trading price action can't do. Your level of perception and price, reading it behind the scenes, what is it doing? Why is it doing what it's doing? Where's the turning points? Where's the precision elements that you would look for entering and exiting and adding new positions, moving your stop, when to move the stop? All those things come together once you've been here for a while. You need something short and sweet? That's already on YouTube. But you still have to practice with that. But just like everything else, when you go into a candy store, you went there for one particular candy bar and you walk out with dozens of stuff. That's where you're at here. You're in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. And there's all kinds of wonders to reach out and grab and play with and do this and that with. And if you don't use your time properly, and structure what it is you're looking for, why you're looking to use that tool. Like I talked tonight, SMT, that's a confirmation tool. It's not a timing tool. It's not a bias tool. It's something you look for when you already expect something bullish. You expect SMT diversions in the bullish sense because your analysis calls for that market to go higher. Then you start looking for, does this market reflect what I would expect to see in SMT? Notice what I just did there? You start with an idea or narrative. This market, the NASDAQ, should be bullish. It's going higher. It's going to create a higher high in the daily chart. So if it starts the day post 7 a.m. New York time and it's dropping down precipitously, that's a Judas swing. So what's it likely reaching for? What PD array, in the sense of a discount, could it be reaching for? There's that bullish order block we talked about. And does it stop there while other indices like S&P and the Dow go lower? Well, there you go. There's your confirmation. Buy the discount, bullish order block, because it's failing to go lower when the other weaker averages went lower. Done. Easier said than done, but done. Obviously, I could keep going on and on and on, but I don't want this video to be long. It's already too long. I could turn this thing into a 4-hour video and still have all kinds of energy and things to talk about. But I want you to remember what it is you're here for. You want to be independent. You don't want to be dependent on me. And I don't want you dependent on me. I want you to have something that you're confident in using, that you trust, that you've seen work. But how can you build any trust in anything you're learning here unless you yourself practice, backtest, log the results, good or bad, and retain these experiences in your journal and in your subconscious? That's the only way it jumps from your understanding to experience being able to do it. You have to input that in your subconscious. That happens by backtesting and logging. If you don't do those things, there's no way you can succeed here. Zero. There is absolutely no friggin' way you're going to learn this unless you submit to that. Backtesting? I don't want to do backtesting. Then you don't want to learn. That's the way it is. You can't build a healthy, fit body without exercise. Like I said, everybody wants a six-pack abs, but they don't want to do the work and remove the junk food. You want candy bars to give you abs and bonbons. It ain't going to work. You have to backtest. And when you backtest and you see the results of studying old moves and then you log them, you screen capture, you put annotations on them and signatures that you're looking for that repeat over and over and over again. And by repetition, you logging them and you writing the annotations on them, your subconscious logs that in your memory. And because you speak to yourself with positive self-talk in your annotations and in your journal entries, your brain receives that as experience that you never really had at that time. So it fools your brain into thinking, I've been there, done that. Then when you watch live price action, experience is drawn on by your subconscious. So those pseudo memories that you created by backtesting and logging, it refers back to that and the things that you hear me talk and say in these videos. So many times students say, I'm watching a video or I'm watching price action live. And all of a sudden I'm watching something for them and I hear your voice start coming up in my head. And then the market does exactly what it's supposed to do. So I'm remembering what you said. And it happened just like you were in the room with me. Well, that's the same thing it was for me with Larry Williams. Same thing. That's learning. That's being mentored. That's someone placing their efforts in a repeating exercise with the hopes that that repetition is going to manifest itself in the future through experience. You can't shorten that. You can't speed it up. You can't have alternative ways to get it. It doesn't work any other way. It cannot work any other way. That's why 2016 members that are honest and they send me emails, they're the ones that constantly say, I haven't really done a lot of the back testing, but I really want this to work for me. And we go back and forth in email. I'm like, you keep doing nothing to improve it. And I tell you what to do, and you don't do those things, and it doesn't improve. Or if you tell me you did it, and I say, show me proof that you've done it, and you only showed me the last 3 days, and you got nothing beyond that, how can you say you're doing the work? Because that's not doing the work. It's frustrating to see that, because it's like, I don't have an answer for that. I don't have a solution for it other than what I've been saying. You have to do those things. How long will it take for you to click and see it? It's all unique. Everyone has it happen for them at different times. This is the reason why I'm honest and tell you, mentors that say they can have a timeline of when you're going to get it, they're full of shit. Okay, there's no way everybody can be pushed into a time horizon of receiving aptitude. You can't. So what I try to do is cultivate a relaxed state where you come in, you enjoy. Try to train yourself and teach yourself to enjoy backtesting and logging and studying old charts and being fascinated with the details. Fall in love with the precision elements that you're learning here, because if you do fall in love with that, you're going to be a freak when it comes to trading live price action. Like, you will be a wizard, completely astonishing to anyone watching you do it. And many of you want that. And that's how you get it. You got to be insanely interested in all of the mundane, stupid, boring stuff that happens in price. You want to be fascinated with every aspect of it. You want to know everything because you want to know that you know. Because when you do, you know. And you don't have any anxiety. You don't worry about missing moves. You don't care about what everybody else says about what you can do or can't do. It doesn't make a difference. None of those things can happen. You're bulletproof then. You're bulletproof. It doesn't matter if your market, goes belly up and, it gets screwed up like crude oil did, during COVID. Went negative $40 a barrel. That's something that you just don't see. Well, if you're an oil trader and you felt that there was too much risk there, do you just stop trading altogether? No. You take what you know about trading and you apply it to an indice, or you trade a currency or a commodity. You adapt. You don't need to be in a one asset, one trick pony mindset. That's why I made the decision once we got into the fall months that I would segue into indices, and it just happened to work out really good because Forex got a little boring there for a little while. But did we miss a beat? Nope. Using the same level of precision, same level of understanding about price action, just subtle different characteristics that now have to be applied with the indices. And it's fun. It's fun. And if you don't like these videos where I'm really communicating the characteristics of people that succeed here, if you can't draw on this and say, that's me, I have that same quality, you need to take some self-inventory. And maybe I'm not for you. Maybe you need to be out there trading, something more mechanical, like, moving averages, like I taught initially on baby pips to teach bias. There's nothing wrong with that inherently. It just means you're likely to get caught in the market structure changes, and if you still trust those moving averages, you're going to have losses and they'll frustrate you. But if you're using a long-term price action model on weekly and daily charts for trending, they'll serve you well, but they won't serve you well in ranging markets. So you'll get beat up a lot there. Like the Turtles did when Richard Dennis trained them. Their largest losses were in markets that were in consolidation. But when they caught the trends, that's where they made all their millions and millions of dollars. They adhered to their rules. They knew they were going to get smashed in consolidation markets. They didn't care. Their money management protected them, and when they were in winners, they let them go. They didn't worry about getting out of them. And all they did was buy 20-day highs and sell short 20-day lows. That's it. That was the turtle system. And that's why he bragged and said, I could teach anybody how to trade. And yeah, I can teach anybody how to trade too. But it doesn't mean they're going to take it and stick with it and adhere to the rules. How many times can you take a losing trade and still want to keep trading or have money left? So this is the hardest business in the world, but it's so freaking easy once you get to your understanding of what it is that you yourself are going to do, and you don't care anything about another market, another trader's approach to it, whatever I think is going to happen. You have your own model, your own market, your own view of what you're going to do to engage. Once you have that sense of liberty, that feeling of, man, I made this a lot harder than it had to be. Like, I was really stressing about all this stuff. And because you're trying and use every possible thing in your model. And when you look at the things I'm teaching, I'm not ringing in everything. And for some of you, you think the biggest barrier is, how does he know what tool to reach to get this information? Like, I don't know when to do that. Right, that's experience. And that's why trolls say he's got an answer for everything. He's got so many gadgets. Like Inspector Gadget, I got something in my pocket, like a Swiss Army knife. I got something I can explain the way I move. No, I have what the market's offering me. I have a range. And that range is going to have order blocks. It's going to have fair value gaps. It's going to have institutional order flow entry drills. Or it's not. Every price swing and every price move doesn't have every single PD array. But you need to know all of them to know this is what it's offering. Do you want to trade on it? If you don't, let it pass. How hard is that? For some of you, it's impossible. Because you're demanding too much of yourself too soon. And unfortunately, that's the reality. And it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel warm and fuzzy because the onus is on you. I'm placing this stuff in your hands. I'm giving you an arsenal of weapons. I'm playing spotter every single week. Look down range and aim for this target right there. That's the hard part. Submitting to that. How many times did you watch the markets this week and the things I said and you wanted to go the opposite direction? And then it didn't happen. It stings, doesn't it? And I have people in 2016 group that still want to do that. Still. And they send me emails and say, I don't know why I'm not getting anywhere. I'm going short on this bearish breaker, but I'm calling the market bullish. Giving you all the reasons why it's going to go higher. And I can appreciate someone wanting to go on their own steam, trying to carve out their own niche and do it on an independent basis. But man, if you're trying to swim against the tide, why would you want to do that? That defeats the whole purpose of why I'm doing these commentaries. I'm training you by lending you my experience. I'm giving you the reasons why it should go where I'm calling it to go. I'm making it as simple as I possibly can when I'm doing the bias aspect and where the draw and liquidity is on the higher time frame. I'm not lacing the chart up with every possible thing. I'm keeping it. You may not feel like it's short and sweet, especially when you listen to a video like this one, because remember, it wasn't supposed to be long. When you look at the approach, the way I outline the draw and liquidity, the bias, what you should be doing, mainly being in a buyer's camp or a seller's camp. I'm doing that to root you in to good soil. That way, you're not trying to go against the grain. You're not trying to swim upstream like a salmon. They get there, but once they spawn, they die. If you know what the tide is, you just relax and you go with it. It's a lot easier to get where you're going. You don't take a lot of effort to do it. And it's pleasurable, really. It's relaxing because you're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You're not trying to call tops. You're not trying to pick bottoms. It's liberating. But when you come into technical analysis and you see all this other garbage out there, it makes you think that this is not where it's at, when this is exactly where you should be. Realistic expectations, not my results, obviously. My results are extraordinary. But the idea of looking for setups that form consistently, they repeat every single week, I prove that. Back testing and logging in your journal, that's all on you. All of you have that responsibility. And if you have not found a way to fall in love with doing that, you got to do it. Because if you think that is an arduous task, it's monotonous, it's unproductive, it's a waste of time. Because there's people out there that'll say journaling and backtesting is stupid. Okay. But you're not going to learn what it is I teach without doing that. It won't manifest itself in the charts to you. When, I don't know, it'll happen. But when you submit to it, something happens where one day you're literally studying and your understanding will change and you'll see, oh, that's what I've been looking for. And I didn't even know it. Many people come in here and they think they want to learn a specific thing. And because they do the things that I'm teaching them, they discover what they came in here looking to learn more about. They don't even trade with that. They trade with something else they've learned because of experience in backtesting and journaling. And it works for them and it's consistent and it fits their personality because they elected it. I didn't say, here, shove it down your throat. You're going to do it this way. And I'm going to pay you $500 for a good review. Yeah. So if you take this logic and you submit yourself to it, put in all the effort you can, reasonable effort. Don't be obsessive about it. Balance your personal life with it as well. Enjoy being part of the community. It will happen for you. And if you're trying to force something that doesn't seem like it's working, put that down for a little while and try something else in the mentorship. And you'll find that that might be the very solution that you've been deferring because of stubbornness. And I understand stubbornness. I understand it intimately. I know they make roads after me one way. But you have to at least make a conscious effort to be diligent about backtesting, logging, and giving yourself that pseudo experience, because that is the bridge that takes you into reading the markets live and understanding the tape. As it's painting and printing new candles, what's it likely to do next and why should it do it? That comes because you've done thousands of backtesting. And that just doesn't sound, that sounds like a million sit-ups, doesn't it? That sounds like you can't have a candy bar the rest of your life and you need to do 1 million sit-ups a week to get those six-pack abs. Well, if you want to look at it like that, that doesn't sound like anybody would want to do it. But if you look at it as, I got to do this set of 25 and rest for 30 seconds, and I got to do another one, that's a little bit more palatable. It's easier to say, well, that's what I got to do. And when you get hungry, I can't have that sweet. It's discipline. It's no different than what you're expected to do here. But you have to be disciplined. You can't be goofing around. The more you goof around, the more you defer doing what I'm telling you to do, the further away it is going to be before you get to where you want to be. You want to trade with live funds? That's never going to freaking happen. Not profitably. Until you submit to doing these things properly. Learn what it is that you're trying to do in price and what is your opportunity. What is your setup? What's your specific little thing that you'd like to look for in price action that you trade on? That's it. But you can't discover that until you put the effort into everything I've taught you here. So with that, I've talked your ear off. I probably put you both to sleep and or bored you to death. But this is good medicine, folks. This is some good stuff. And I wish someone would have talked to me like this when I was coming up, because I would have received it with gladness and thanksgiving, because I didn't have any of that. I had whatever a book would tell me, and it was basically BS. So this is the end of this one. I will touch base with you tomorrow. I'll have the video up. Hopefully, my goal is to have it up by 5 o'clock. I'm going to start trying to use the London close. I keep telling you I'm going to do this, but my wife and children end up getting me into something in the afternoon, and I can't get to the computers to do the markups or the notes. But I should have it up by 5 o'clock tomorrow. And until I talk to you then, be safe.